Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahano Bhunaktu Saha Viryan Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma Vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Let us all be together. Let us all be nourished together. Let us all work together with great vigor. May our studies illumine our intellects. May we not contradict or hate each other. Om, peace, peace, peace.
With pranams at the lotus feet of our Veda Mata, Veda Purusha, Bhagwan Sri Satya Sai Baba, most revered elders, dear sisters and brothers, loving greetings to each and every one of you this evening and this morning. As we can see, Vasudeva Kutumbakam, we are truly one family joining from various parts of the world, virtually, but most certainly spiritually. Thank you so much, dear sisters and brothers, for your time and for your love. And it's by no accident or coincidence that we are all on this Veda voyage together. The compassion, the love, the oceanic kindness of Veda Mata to plant a wonderful seed of yearning and learning in our hearts for the Vedas is truly her grace, her blessings, and her sacrifice and her gift. It's wonderful as well to join on a day which is also happens to be in South Africa, Youth Day and Father's Day. Firstly, with Father's Day, we thank our Rishi Munis, our forefathers, for protecting, fostering, meticulously passing down the Vedas for the welfare of all of creation. And on Mother's Day, we thank our Rishikas. And on Guru Purnima, we thank both of them for allowing the Vedas to ensure that this world is protected. As Bhagwan Shri Satya Sai Baba says, if Dharma collapses, the world, the entire world will collapse. But if Vedas collapse, which is the roots of the tree of creation, the entire universe will collapse. And on this Youth Day as well, in fact, they say that we are as old as our doubts. We are as young as our faith. So let us always be youthful. And the Vedas reminds us of our innate divine nature, which keeps us youthful and reminds us that it's a state of being. We think of Swami Vivekananda, who represents an incredible youth as a lone soul ranger going from India by ship in 1896 to America, to the West, to attend the World Parliament of Religions in Chicago. His very first opening line left the audience spellbound, and they started to applaud him for several minutes. With one single line, he addressed them as sisters and brothers of America. Imagine that beautiful unity of brotherhood of man, fatherhood of God. Such a wonderful essence to share, which is the spirit of Vedas, which is unity. In the last section of the Rig Veda, gives the entire fragrance of the Veda, which is unity. Sangachadvam samvadadvam sambho manamsi janatam. Let us have one accord, let us have one goal together, and let us achieve it together. And this is the spirit of Vasudeva Kutumbakam. We're very blessed that sisters and brothers from 10 countries have joined from this beautiful world, planet Earth that we're on. I'd like to thank each and every one of you for being part of this wonderful journey. They say that when the birds, they fly in the formation of a V, and that V stands for the Veda. And together, the birds, they can achieve a distance far greater and an altitude far higher. So let us go on this journey together to this wonderful altitude of divine magnitude. So we'll now go through the course objectives as well. The main essence of this course is for us to plant the seed of the Vedas in our hearts. And once we plant the seed, we realize, wow, it is so beautiful. And our lens, our 3D glasses that we put on each day, we will be looking through the lens of love. For the Vedas teach us that we are all connected through this beautiful bond and thread of love, and we all are interwoven in this fabric of divinity. It's to help us all, not just the student. I forgot to mention student and tutor alike, to have solid foundation of the Vedas, because in this journey, there's actually no student, there's no tutor, as the beautiful chant was chanted by Brother Yastil, Sahana Vavatu, Sahano Bunaktu, Sahaviryan Karavavai. The knowledge itself is what is going to provide us nourishment. So we're all learning from each other on this beautiful journey, and it's to ensure that we have a solid foundation. We can chant with the correct intonation, pronunciation. And when we do that, we actually realize the intention behind why we're chanting. Vedas is all about seva. The positive energy has a ripple effect, as though we're throwing a stone into a still pond, and you see the ripples go beautifully outwardly. So in the same way, from our heart, as we chant the Vedas, it's spreading, not just covering this entire earth, but the universe beyond. So it's to help each student also to have confidence in chanting the Vedas. When we chant the Vedas, we experience the sweetness and the taste. We can be told in great detail about how a wonderful sweet meat like the jalebi tastes. But until we taste it ourselves, that experience cannot be expressed in words. In the same way, the Vedas, when we chant it, we can really feel and experience its energy. And when we are chanting in the correct intonation, pronunciation, with the right intention, the electromagnetic waves and the positive energy starts to manifest. And healing energy is sent forth throughout this whole entire universe. It's to bring to light the universal values and teachings of the Vedas. The Vedas existed before any formalized religion existed as well. But it gives the essence of the Latin term for religion, which is religare, which is to unite, which is all about unity, non-duality, Advaita, Ubuntu. To share how the Vedas is needed now more than ever for the individual, societal, national, global, and universal levels for unity and peace and prosperity. For each and every one of us to help spread, foster, and protect the Vedas for generations to come. Because truly, the Vedas is the greatest gift that divinity has gifted humanity. And when the Vedas are protected, everything in nature, in man's nature, and in Mother Nature comes together and is in perfect balance and harmony. So on completion of this course, if the seed that has been planted today as we commence this wonderful journey starts to sprout and a yearning takes place, and you wish to continue with the Veda churning, because from the churning, as from the milk comes the wonderful butter. So we continue that churning and that love. Then it will be wonderful in the near future that the student also starts teaching, and together it has a continuous cycle of spreading the Vedas to each and every single home and community around the world. And imagine the ripple energy and how beautiful this whole world will be when this positive sound waves are manifesting in the environment. So the essence of each one, teach one. Let us spread this beautiful nectar. Sisters and brothers, we now move on to the next part where two brothers, Brother Nivesh and Brother Niraj, are going to share their wonderful experiences with the Vedas. Thank you so much.
Can we request Brother Nivesh to please switch on your video and an audio? And please share with us your experience, your journey, Ram.
Yeah, so Veda for me, I grew up in a home where Radio Sai played all the time, and with that, in the morning, 4 a.m., 4:30 a.m. South Africa time, Vedam would play, and this caught my attention. And as a kid growing up, this was a common occurrence every day, and yeah, it got me. There was some sort of attraction just by listening to it, of me wanting to learn it. So I ended up learning Ganapati Pratna and few suktams, so Durga Suktam and Meda Suktam. And that was it. The learning was very staggered. So I would start and then I would stop, then I would start again, then I would stop again. And then come to 2010, and it was towards November of 2010, and I had on discourse stream of Radio Sai, and I heard the discourse where Swami says that he has come to Veda Poshana and Veda Samrakshana, and this really stuck with me because uh, it made me question. Swami says that he has come to foster the Vedas and protect the Vedas. However, what am I doing to keep or to make what he's saying the truth, right? Because Swami is truth, right? Everything he says is truth. So that December, I went to Puttaparthi, and um, they were chanting Rudram, and that really caught my attention. And a week into going for darshan, I took it upon myself and said that, okay, I'm going to take this serious now, and I'm going to learn Rudram. It took me an entire year to just learn Anuvaka 1. So by the time I went back to Parthi in December 2011, I only was able to chant the first Anuvaka. But with Swami's grace, that has changed, and I was able to eventually, in the preceding months, um, learn the entire Namakam and Chamakam, and that really is what got me so, or developed this passion for Vedam in me. Then I just want to narrate a short experience. This actually happened last year sometime. So I had a dream, and that I was sitting in Kulwant Hall, and we were, well, Vedam was being chanted, and strangely enough, it was Devi Suktam that was being chanted. And in my dream, I'm sitting with my eyes closed, and all of the sudden, Swami just walks in, and he comes and stands in front of me, and I open my eyes and I see Swami standing there. And then he tells me to chant. Why am I not chanting? Then I say, but Swami, I do not know Devi Suktam. And he says, no, chant. And in my dream, all of the sudden, I chanted the um, first verse. Om Aham Rudra Birvaso Vishchara. Okay. And surprisingly, when I woke up from that dream, I was able to chant the same verse, the first verse of Devi Suktam, uh, that I chanted in my dream for Swami without learning it. But yes, so the Devi Suktam is something really close to me, because essentially in Devi Suktam, you are saying that you are that very same consciousness. You are Rudra, you are Indra, you are everything. Okay. And yes, so that's just a bit of a short experience and my a bit of my thoughts on learning Vedas. Jai Sai Ram.
Thank you. Thank you so much, brother Nivesh. I think beautifully put. I think you really mentioned the essence why Swami has come, Vedodharana, Ved Poshana, and Ved Rakshana. And also listening to you, really inspired by your persistence. You said it took you almost a year to learn one Anuvaka, and all of us are on this journey. Some of us are very new, some of our have started, and I think it's really a message of how we should be persistent and keep keep trying, and never give up. So thank you so much for sharing. And like you said, Swami gave you the mantra and the dream. So it's just like Vedas are Aparashaya. They were always seen by rishis and seers, and are not of human origin. So even with grace, you can get these things in your dream, and you were able to chant it. So really inspirational. Thank you. And may I request Brother Neeraj to also share his journey, his experience, his thoughts uh, on the Vedas.
Namaste, Saram. Good evening. Thanks, Brother Samarth and Brother Nivesh. So, I think my experience with the Vedas. So, when I was growing up, I grew up in a family that believed in Swami or Sai Baba. So, I was very familiar with having attended Bhavavikas classes and the Seva programs and the devotional programs and the bhajans. And but at the time of doing Bhavavikas, so during school, I didn't necessarily know much about Veda chanting at all. And then eventually there was one of the devotees in the center in Johannesburg who decided that he was gonna start having some lessons. And I didn't know anything. I didn't know anything about it. I had zero knowledge. And I went for one of these classes, and they started teaching the first Anuvaka of Rudram. And for some reason, like till today, I still can't put words to it, but what I felt when learning was more connection than I'd felt in any of the other sort of programs, whether it was singing bhajans or attending discourses or study circles or the seva programs. There was just something about this particular form of prayer or devotion that made me realize that there's something bigger to the world and to the universe, and a bigger purpose out there. And I think that feeling has always stuck with me till today, whenever I try my best to chant wherever possible. And I think after learning the first Anuvaka, I tried a little to learn here and there, but it never really took off until I think I moved to Cape Town. And when I moved to Cape Town, I actually joined Kabir's classes at that time in Rylands, and I think that's where sort of the motion really set in. And for some reason, it just made sense to me. Like, I think in life, we're all looking for something that makes us happy or makes us peaceful, or, we're always looking for that little bit of the puzzle. And sometimes we turn to the materialistic world, where we need a bigger house, or we need a better TV, or we need, something more and more. But for me, this just made sense to me, because this is what made me feel that sense of contentment and happiness and peace. And so I think with those classes, with Swami's grace and Kabir's teaching skills, I think I managed to learn a few more chants. And I can share that till this day, when on the days where I do chant something in the morning before my work day, I feel I handle the work stresses or the daily challenges a lot better than the days that I don't. And it makes me think of this analogy that while every day we sort of eat 3 meals a day to nourish our body and physical aspects, but we have to be doing something to nourish our mental faculties and our mind as well. And for me, this is that. I just feel that energy that it brings, or the stillness that it brings, really helps you in your day-to-day life of coping with, whether it's work stress or family challenges or anything related to the world. And you just have a sense of calm and an ability to think through it with much ease. So yeah, I think it's an excellent experience, and I hope that all that have shared or joined us today and are willing to be part of the classes can experience something similar in their lives. And I'm sure you will. And it will take just some dedication from all of us. But at the end of the day, I think it's going to be 1,000% worth it. So I just wanted to share that, and thanks for this one.
Thank you, Brother Neeraj. Thanks for I think as you were speaking, so beautiful to hear the practically how it has helped you. And Swami always says it's not only when we chant, it's the person who's chanting. It's not only the people who listen to these chants, but also the first person who's benefited is the person who's chanting the Vedas. And you also mentioned, there is something about these prayers, and that is what the divine vibrations that are created when we chant correctly with the right pronunciation, intonation, and intention. And also, I'm very sure, as you were saying, there are many people on this call who have experienced this in some way or the other, experienced the benefits, and that what brings us all together. And this is really a course or a satsang that we are going to go into where we can all get together, share our learning in the classes, share our stories, share our experiences so that we all learn from each other. That is truly the objective of the course, because all of us are basically just learners and trying to scratch the surface of this, the big, Vedas, the knowledge that is. So I think with that, we'll go into the contents of the course. And as we speak, please feel free to post your questions in the chat as the questions come up. And in the end, of course, we have sufficient time for question and answer session. Let me share my screen. So basically, I know I'm seeing a lot of people. I also wanted to mention that many of you may already be aware of certain chants. Huh? So the way we have designed the course is, of course, really starting from the beginning. We'll go into this content now, but some of you may already be familiar. So if you are thinking, yeah, I already know this chant, can I skip that lesson? So I would highly, humbly request you to attend all the sessions, because this is an opportunity to go deeper. If you know the mantra already, there are multiple levels of meaning of each mantra. So there are some of you who may know already Rudram, who have already known Ganpati Pratna, Shivopasana mantra. As you learn it again and again, as you contemplate more on it again and again, the deeper level of meanings will open up. So really would recommend, if you're joining the course, do attend all of them and try to further deepen your understanding of these mantras. So that's just a thought that came. In terms of the timeline, I think the course we are starting from next week, so from tomorrow onward, and we'll share how the groups are formed and which day the classes are being done and how we have allocated them. And it ends in the week starting 18th of November. So essentially 5 months or 22 weeks of satsang are planned in the coming period. The structure essentially is the first 2 classes starting from tomorrow will be about fundamentals. So talking about, like Brother Kabir said, the meaning, what is the root word of Veda, what is the importance of the Vedas, what are the 4 different types of Vedas at a very basic level. And amount of benefit you can get out of it is up to you. The more you research, it's also expected that when you come to the class, that you think about it, you deepen your knowledge. The tutor will help facilitate the discussion with the material that we provide. But it's really up to all of us to make the best out of that satsang. Also, it talks about the chandas or the meters in which we chant, the various basics of pronunciation, intonations, anusarga, visarga, sandhi rules, basics. So we talk about very basics in the first 2 classes, and the remaining 9 classes are the 9. The remaining classes are the 9 chants, which we have shared during the form when you registered. Basically, talking about Gayatri mantra, Ganpati Pratna, Kshama Pratna, Devopasana mantra, Mantra Pushpam, Narayan Upanishad, Medha Suktam, Samana Suktam, and Durga Suktam. So these are the 9 chants that we will attempt to cover in the 22 weeks. Typically, we'll have 45 minutes to 1 hour virtual satsangs, where the tutor, just like in Gurukul, the tutor will chant 1 line and the students will be requested to repeat. And also, the meanings will be discussed, which Brother Neeraj will share. We are preparing a beautiful booklet with meanings. So it will help facilitate that discussion as well. So it's really an opportunity to delve into the meanings as well. We also have some nice, interesting quizzes for some of the content. And for most of the chant, there will be a request to practice the chant after the class, record yourself, listen to yourself, correct yourself, and then re-record and share it with the tutor for feedback. Many of you know Vedas is called Shruti as well. So it's always learned by listening. So you can only improve if you know how to listen. So half of the job, or more than half of the Veda, is about listening. If your listening skills are developed, automatically you will pick up things much more easily. Therefore, we would request everyone to, once you practice on your own time, to record yourselves, listen to yourselves, correct, and then share it with the tutor, where they'll try to give you feedback. So that is the basic timeline and structure. Of course, more details will be shared during the classes, but this is really high level. And then let me request Brother Kashen to talk about a little bit of the group allocation and registrations.
Loving greetings, brothers and sisters. Thank you, Brother Samit, for the course content. So I'll take you guys through the registration. So in total, we have 252 students who are registered, of which they will be allocated to 14 different tutors. So on a Monday evening, there's 4 classes which occur. So at 7 o'clock, Hopper 7, there's 2 classes, and then 1 class at Hopper 8. And then on Tuesday evening, there's 2 classes, one at 7 o'clock in the evening and 8 o'clock in the evening. And then on Wednesday evening, there's 4 classes as well. So 3 classes at 7 p.m. and then 1 at 8 p.m. And then Saturday, there's 2 classes, both at 7 a.m. And then Sunday evening, there's 2 classes. So 1 class at 7 p.m. and 1 at 7:30 p.m. So most of the students were put into these groups based on their first preference, but some of the students were put in based on their second preference so that we could allocate certain tutors. So now I hand over to Brother Neeraj, who will take us through the course content.
Thank you, Brother. Yeah, also maybe just on the WhatsApp, while we are on this, before we go to the content, you will soon be creating WhatsApp groups where all of you will be allocated as per this, and then you will get to know your tutors as well. And further communication will happen then on those groups regarding the classes. So that will happen between today and tomorrow, so that we can start the classes tomorrow. Wanted to add that, Brother Kashen. Yeah. Then, yes, we'll request Brother Neeraj to share a little bit about the course material. Brother Neeraj, over to you.
Okay, thanks. So for each chant that we'll learn as part of the course structure, there will be some booklets that will be made for each of the chants, and we'll be using the IAST format, or the International Alphabet of Sanskrit Transliteration format. So that will be the format of the chant, and so the coordinators will be able to maybe explain this further in the coming classes. But effectively, I mean, the text will be from these well-known and credible sources. But I think more than the actual text itself, which some of the coordinators will be familiar with, I think I think one of the bigger objectives or purposes of the booklet itself would be for helping us to discuss and understand the meaning and any additional information pertaining to the chant. So I think the idea behind understanding the meaning is, how can we apply the meanings and understandings of the chants in a universal manner? So, I mean, for example, as we'll go through the course, there might be some chants that, from a Hindu faith or from an Indian culture perspective, you may be familiar with terms like Ganesha or Saraswati. But how do these energies, or how do these types of forms, how are they relevant to other faiths? So how is it more relevant from us? And how can we think about it from a universal aspect? So I think that'll be important, because that really unlocks, the fact that Vedas is not just for a particular community or religion, but it is God's words, and that's universal to all creation. And I think I'm hoping that the booklets can unlock that angle to Veda chanting, which I think will be a fantastic learning experience for all of us. For each of the chants as well, there also will be an audio. So as Brother Samad said, listening is quite an important part of learning to chant. So the audios will also be available. And those audios, as well as the text, they will follow authentic and credible sources, particularly in this case of how it is chanted in Prajanti Nilayam in India. And so the tutor or the coordinator in each class will refer to the booklet as well as to the audio to teach the class. And there also obviously may be some other teaching methods or just other resources that they may leverage on to experience or enhance the overall learning experience, depending on each class's dynamic as well. So I think that, or on a broad sense, will be the materials that we use for the course going forward. Thanks, Brother Smith.
Thank you, Brother Neeraj. Yeah, so this is really an attempt, like Brother Neeraj said, to universalize the teachings as much as possible. And of course, this serves as a guideline to start the satsang, and there is so much material available. And that's our experience when you get together with 11, 12 people or 20 people in the class, and the collective consciousness can bring out beautiful meanings. So this will serve as a basis, and then the rest is, of course, with divine grace. We'll proceed on the journey, and everyone will get the meanings on their own. So thank you. And then we have shared what we wanted to share, but I do see questions coming in. So the first one is, can all the teachers introduce themselves and their roles? I'm not sure if that will be practical. Thanks, Brother Kiran. I think that's a very good comment. But some of them are already spoke. I think for rest of them, we'll have to add all of them onto the panelist in order to make them visible. So let me try to cover other questions. Maybe, is that okay, Brother Kavir, if you park that for now? It'll be difficult to in lieu of time to introduce
Brother, sure.
Yeah.
I'll just say that regarding the tutors, they all are exceptionally very good at chanting Vedas, at teaching Vedas. So all the students are in very good hands, no doubt about it. And all the tutors are very compassionate, kind, and they will all walk on this journey with each student. So don't worry. All the teachers, tutors are wonderful.
Thank you, Kabir. And the second question is by Samrut, 11 years old. Nice. So he opted for Saturday and in Abu Dhabi. Please tell the time zone. So Abu Dhabi is, I just checked, 2 hours ahead of South Africa. If it's Saturday, then typically it'll be a morning class. So if it's 7 a.m. in South Africa, it'll be 9 a.m. in Abu Dhabi. So it's 2 hours ahead. Then we have question from Stakala. If you have not registered, can I still register? Maybe Brother Kavir, you want to answer that one?
Yes, brother. I think just the enthusiasm of joining this webinar, it's a divine design.
Yes.
You're most welcome to join the class. Thank you so much.
Yes.
I think Brother Kashen will make a note of it, and you'll be added, sister, to the WhatsApp group. Maybe Brother Kashen, you can just message sister and get her cell phone number on the Zoom chat, and then we can add it to the group.
Can message, if you can put your phone number in the Zoom chat, Sister Kala, then we will contact you and try to get you on board. Then the Aarti, can you check if my registration was successful? I think I'll leave that with the Brother Kashin in the background. If you can check, we haven't sent out successful registration confirmation emails. I'm not sure, but yeah, if you can check Brother Kashin in the background, if the Aarti Moodley's registration is successful, we can come back to that later. Then Sister Kirin. Oh, I also see some hands. Sorry, there is one hand up. Let me go to the hand. So HM. Let me allow talk. Yes, you can unmute yourself, brother or sister HM. Your hand is up if you had a question. Brother or sister, you're named as HM. If you can unmute yourself. Okay. We'll give them some time. Female again. Any basic background reading that can be recommended? Any background reading that can be recommended? I'll also request one of my panelists to answer what kind of background reading can be recommended, if any, Brother Kabir or anyone.
So I think as Brother Neeraj alluded to, with regards to the booklets, they would have some wonderful content and information, and then the tutors as well will share some beautiful stories and insights. So I think the number one ingredient is try and attend the class with your 100% attention and your presence. And there's a beautiful story about about the monk and the student comes to the monk says, please come with an empty cup, not with a cup full of tea, as then you can't add or share more in the cup that's full. So when you do attend the class, please come with an empty cup, and guaranteed it will be filled with serenity, tranquility, and divinity.
Right on, right on. Thank you, brother. I think, yeah, in terms of materials, like Brother and Kabir said, we will share with you materials as we go along. So there's no really background needed. Only thing needed is willingness. So that's it. Thank you. Then question is around if your mom has registered on the form, but she did not log on to the meeting. Will she still be registered? Yes. People who could not join today, the webinar will be recorded and posted. We do understand it's Father's Day and also on a very short notice, so they will still be added to the group for sure. And then we have another question around consistency of the course across the group. Reason being, if you're unable to attend your allocated lesson on a certain day, could you possibly swap? So I think the course content, let me take this one, is pretty consistent. We have tried to give a guidance on every week what lesson should be covered. I think the swapping, possibly every teacher has their own style. So I would say it is not recommended to swap in between. But if you miss a certain lesson, I'm sure you can speak to your tutor or coordinator, and they can find out if that lesson is ongoing in some of the other class. If you miss it completely, then they can help you in joining. If certain group is slightly behind and they're about to start, then you could attend that lesson. But in principle, we do not promote swapping in between teachers, because you're part of the group and you're learning. So it's a bit more personal, I would say, the classes, and then not just switching in between. So that would be the reply. But yeah, definitely if you miss completely, then the teacher will help you to connect with the group which is still ongoing with that lesson. So, Okay, then we have, I will be traveling to Prashanti in July for the Young Adults Conference, and the schedule will be this. Will the classes be recorded? Okay. Any thoughts on this one, Kabir?
I think generally it depends on the tutor themselves, because what happens is, if you mention it's going to be recorded, then sometimes the students, they prefer to rather go for a movie that week. So if the tutor generally only has live classes, there's generally a higher attendance by the students. I would say that maybe the tutors, they can record the classes, and then each student, if they require it, if they really can't make it for that week, then they can receive the recording. It's I think it's very important though for everyone who wants to learn the Vedas, just to put 100% maximum effort. And the class is very important, because the foundation that will be provided by the tutor in terms of intonation, pronunciation, and all the nuances, it's quite critical that you can attend, because that all occurs in the class, and it provides the wonderful sort of resource of learning for that whole week until the class takes place again. So if you can join for the live classes, it's definitely recommended. And then it's subjective if the tutor is recording for that week as well. Sairam.
Sairam. Yeah, I think, no, thanks, Brother Kabir. I think good point. That's exactly what our experience is. So we are not questioning your intentions. I'm sure you will miss it for if it's really, really urgent. But it is difficult to get the same essence out of the recording. So we will try our best. But the recommendation is really to attend it in person. Yeah. And, then is it possible to have the text in Sanskritam as well? So maybe I will request Brother Neeraj. I know you are making the script. Is it something we can incorporate?
Yeah, sure. So maybe at the end we can include it as well as an additional.
Yes. Yeah. No, I think there's a few requests to incorporate it. So we'll the main thing will be in English, and in the back we can also include the Sanskritam script as well. Thank you. No, will each lesson be recorded? Okay, so the recording is being asked a few times. Please let us know when the booklet will be available. So there's another question on when the booklet will be available.
So I think the coordinator will have the relevant booklet, and then when they start that particular class, they'll share it with their class, before that lesson of that week. So then, as you go through the course structure, each booklet will be shared by the relevant coordinator with you. So that will happen as we follow the course content.
Yes. Thank you. So yeah, we have started making the booklets already, and before definitely the lesson is available. As the coordinator starts to share it, they will share it with you as well. So it will be available for all to access. Okay. Looking for any hands or any questions. I think I did go through all the questions so far. I'll request the other of the panelists if they have any thoughts to share. We have a few minutes. Otherwise, we go to thanks. Anything from any of the panelists listening to the questions or any reflections?
Sairam, brother.
Sairam.
I would just say, as you you alluded to as well, that as Buddha Bhagwan says, as long as we are breathing, we will be learning. So we're all learning together on this wonderful journey. And I think the sisters and brothers on this wonderful journey, if you're finding certain aspects tricky, please speak to your tutor, because the main thing is not to feel that it is difficult and then stop learning or stop this progress, because often it just requires a little bit um, uh, guidance, and you'll see that it's not difficult at all. In fact, in music, they have 7 notes, sa re ga ma pa da ni. In Vedas, it's just 3 notes, middle, up, and down. So all the long sentences of the Vedas, which sometimes can feel like an entire sort of ocean, can be encapsulated into a droplet when we just break it up into different parts. So always communicate with your tutor if you're ever stuck. And with your tutor, you'll see that the journey becomes enjoyable. And Vedas is not to add to your busy lifestyle and load in any way. It is to make the journey of life much lighter. So you'll see and experience that Vedas integrates in every single part of life and makes this journey so beautiful. So please, sisters and brothers, do try and complete this course till the end, which is a very short course, just a few months, and do hope you enjoy each moment of it.
Yeah, thank you, Kabir. And yeah, I think some people may be traveling. I see some comments. Also, the Global Young Adult Conference. So yeah, I think work is work is worship. So we'll do our best. The content will be made available. So do try to catch up. There are also in between some lessons which are like break weeks where you can actually catch up if you have missed a couple of sessions. Where there'll be practices only. So there will be enough opportunity to catch up. And I think there's no need to stress, like Brother Kavir said, if you miss 1 or 2 lessons. So you'll just try your best to catch up and make up for it. Okay, so I think the question is, are there any plans to include teaching Rudram in future? We did discuss it as a team, and definitely that will be part of the advanced course if with the Swami's grace. Once we finish this, that could be the next step. But first, we really wanted to, after the Atirudra Mahayagna that took place, there was a lot of interest in trying to learn the basics. So we thought, let's all put our energy in trying to set up a solid foundation, and definitely in future, Swami there will be opportunity to take up similar effort for Rudram as well. Okay, we'll request then Sister Prasanta for a vote of thanks. There are no further questions.
Om Sarao Namaste. Good evening, everybody. Okay, so firstly, vote of thanks. Thanks to everyone for taking the time to join the session, and then for making the commitment to take this voyage and learning the Vedas. And it was really encouraging to see all the enthusiasm that came through, because there were so many questions and so many inquiries. I love that someone asked, where can we get the reading materials to read in advance? This is really encouraging. And as tutors and trainers, thank you again for giving us the opportunity to join you in this journey, which will help us take our next step in this voyage with Vedas. And finally, thank you to God for giving us all this opportunity and the ability to learn Vedas and connect across the globe, so that there really is no challenge or boundary with learning Vedas. It really is for everybody, wherever you are, whatever time zone, it's for everyone. So thank you. I'm going to keep it short and sweet because it is Father's Day, and I'm sure everybody would like to celebrate. Thank you.
Thank you, sister. Thank you. We go to the closing prayer. Can I request Sister Tara?
He is the cause, action, doer, doing, the done, and the undone. We pray that He allows and shapes us to be perfect instruments in His mission. Om Saishvaraya Vidmahe Satyadevaya Dhimahi Tanna Sarva Prachodayat. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. जय बोलो भगवान श्री सत्य साई बाबा जी की जय।